Calling to order the Lynwood Unified School District's Board of Education regularly scheduled board meeting for June 9th, 2022. Superintendent, roll call.
Mr. Morales?
Present.
Mrs. Eliel Calleros?
Present.
Mr. Hardy? Dr. Castro?
Present.
Mrs. Lopez?
Approval of the agenda of the regular meeting of the Board of Education for June 9th, 2022. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Del Cayero, second by Dr. Castro. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, item passes to be 3-0 vote. Public communications on closed session items, Superintendent.
There are none, President Morales.
At this point in time, we will recess into closed session at 6:31, 5:31. Reconvening the Lynwood Unified School District's regularly scheduled board meeting for June 9th, 2022 at 6:06 PM. Superintendent, roll call.
Mr. Morales.
Present.
Mr. Del Real Callero. Mr. Hardy.
Present.
Dr. Castro. Mrs. Lopez.
Thank you, Superintendent. Flag salute by Wilson Elementary.
Good evening, Board President Morales, board members, Superintendent Crossway, District Cabinet members, and Lynwood community. My name is Treon McGee. I am the proud principal of Wilson Elementary School, and we are honored to be a part of the board meeting tonight. With me today is our Wilson Elementary School Student Council President, Lily Perez. Lily has future plans to attend Cal State Long Beach, go Beach, where she wants to study and complete her degree and become an NFL sportscaster. Her favorite team is the San Francisco 49ers. Lily will lead us in the flag salute.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wilson. Going into student reports, Lynwood Community Adult School.
Good evening, Board President Mr. Morales, Board Member, Superintendent Dr. Crossway, members of the Cabinet, and the Lingo community. My name is Miguel Conejo, and I am the Student Board Representative for Lingo Community Adult School. Lingo Community Adult School wishes to congratulate the class of 2022 as they graduate on Friday, June 10, 2022, at the Lynwood High School Imperial Gym at 6 p.m. Lingo Community Adult School has 16 testing candidates for the high set examination on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. Lingo Community Adult School hosted its annual student award banquet for the first time since the pandemic on Friday, June 10 at the Embassy Suite Hotel in Downey. We enjoyed ourselves as we celebrated our accomplishment. This concludes Lingo Community Adult School report. Thank you.
Thank you. Pathway High School.
Good evening, Board President Mr. Alfonso Morales and the Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Crossway, members of the Cabinet, and the Lynwood community. My name is Carla Aguirre, and I am the Student Board Representative and a member of ASB for Pathway Independent Study High School. Pathway continued to have their social emotional support weekend events. Students were able to engage in interactive activities and friendly competitions, while other scholars worked on advancing on their schoolwork. With additional academic support, over 25 students participated in the weekend event. Mr. Ballinger continued to bring a different guest to teach us about the importance of having dreams, setting goals, and being persistent. We learned that there are no goal high enough to accomplish as long as you stay focused and put hard work. We had our grad night at Universal Studios with Vista High School last weekend. We had an amazing time with thrilling rides, music, and food. It was a bittersweet moment with our friends. Pathway staff celebrated our accomplishments with a senior brunch today. We were provided food from the habit and engaged in fun activities. We thank everyone at Pathway for always believing in us when we had many doubts. As of today, 27 students have enrolled for our community college, and 3 peers have enlisted in the military. Pathway is continuing to offer services throughout the summer for students who enroll in college and apply for financial aid. It was an honor to represent Pathway as a student representative. I congratulate the class of 2022 for your achievements. I wish you all the best with your future plans. This concludes the Pathway Independent Study Hall report. Thank you.
Vista High School.
Good evening, Board President Alfonso Morales and the Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Crosswaith, members of the Cabinet, and the Lynwood community. My name is Dana Castañeda, and I am the Student Board Representative and a member of ASB for Vista High School. Students from the Adult Transition Program played their annual friendly basketball scrimmage game against Fireball CLM students. The event was a wonderful success. Parents and staff attended the events to cheer on our team. We thank everyone that made it possible, especially Coach Ray and the Fireball High School for their hospitality. We hope to continue this tradition. Testing continued to be administered at Vista. We thank all of our students for their persistence and dedication. Our education is really important, and these assessments help us better understand our academic progress. Vista joined Pathway for Grad Night at Universal Studios. It was a memorable experience for all of us as we had the opportunity to hang out with our friends one last time. Thank you, Campus Safety, for providing us the extra support when we arrived at site at 2 in the morning. Senior brunch was held earlier today. We had the opportunity to celebrate our journey for the last 13 years with our friends. Friendly competitions and prizes were held as well as recognitions for our achievements. This was a reality check that our journey is coming to an end as well as a new one awaits. As of today, 89 students have successfully completed their financial aid applications in preparation for college. This is by far the most students that have completed their financial aid in a school year, beating the last record in the recent years of 26 students. I am happy to see my peers taking advantage of this opportunity. It has been a real pleasure serving as student board representative on behalf of the graduating class of 2022. I would like to thank everyone in Lynwood Unified School District for the support behind the scenes, as well as those in the forefront. We are Lynwood. This concludes the Vista High School report. Thank you.
Fireball High School.
Good evening, Board President Mr. Morales, board members, and the rest of the Lynwood community here today. My name is Natalie Aoki. I am the AZ president here representing MA Fireball High School. The information presented will be the most up-to-date and recent going on our campus. Academics. Finals have officially started and will set to finish on Monday, June 13th. The class of 22 is set to graduate on June 15th. College and career information. The College and Career Center has been planning alongside Lynwood High to plan for the upcoming seniors. The CC Center has also been assisting seniors with ordering transcripts, orientations, classes, and registrations. The College Center has also been recruiting for the AB88, and they'll be having a meeting scheduled a week after graduation. School events and activities. ASB is hosting a Falcon Monday with various activities for our student body as the school year comes to an end. Seniors had their senior brunch yesterday. It was an amazing event. We got to enjoy delicious food from Acapulco, awards, music, and took pictures. It was an overall good experience and time. This upcoming Tuesday, the class of 22 will be hosting Senior Sunset, where students will enjoy their last high school experience before graduation. Club, sports, athletic department. Various clubs around campus have been celebrating their success throughout the year with banquets. Avid, ASB, volleyball, soccer, theater, softball, etc. Before my presentation ends, I'd like to thank the board, Mr. Montes, staff, and teachers at Fireball for all their hard work and dedication to us students. We deeply appreciate it. This concludes the 2021-2022 Student Board Report. Go Falcons!
Lynwood High School.
Good evening, Board President Mr. Morales, board members, district cabinet members, and Lynwood community. My name is Zaira Hernandez, and I am Lynwood High School Student Board Representative. This is Lynwood High School Student Board Report for Thursday, June 9th. College and Career Center. As the end of the school year approaches, the CCC is continuing to support students with signing up for orientation at their colleges and any other support they need. They are also preparing their future plans for the class of 2023. Textbook and Chromebook returns. On June 6th and June 7th, seniors were expected to return their textbooks, Chromebooks, and pay any outstanding fees. All students had to return all their items and pay any outstanding fines in order to receive their diploma. All underclassmen will return their textbooks on June 13th through the 15th. Senior activities. On Monday, June 6th, the yearbook distribution took place after school. On Tuesday, June 7th, senior breakfast was held at 9 a.m. in the gym. Here, scholarship recipients were announced, senior awards and sashes were given out, and all seniors enjoyed hours of food, fun games, and yearbook signing with their fellow classmates. On Wednesday, June 8th, cap and gowns were distributed at 2 p.m. in the gym. Tomorrow, Friday, June 10th, seniors will have grad night hosted at Universal Studios. Grad night will take place from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. All of our seniors are looking forward to this day. On Monday, June 13th, the senior panoramic picture will take place at 11 a.m., and the day will end with senior sunset at 6 p.m. in the quad. During the senior sunset, seniors will be served pizza and drinks and have the opportunity to watch a movie as the sun sets with their friends. Graduation will take place on June 14th at 6 p.m. All seniors will receive their graduation tickets the morning of this day at graduation practice. We are extremely proud of each and every one of our seniors and wish them the best of luck wherever the future decides to take them. As the school year comes to an end, it has been an honor serving the school board as the student board representative for 2 consecutive years. I am grateful to have had the opportunity to serve as the liaison between Lynwood High School, the school board, and our community. I would like to proudly introduce the new student board representative for the Lynwood High School, Nareli Gudiño. We are truly proud of her and are eager to see her accomplishments this upcoming school year. As for myself, I was blessed to have options like UC Irvine, UCLA, Emory, Cornell, Dartmouth, Brown, and Stanford University for my next 4 years. However, I am proud to say that I will be attending the Johns Hopkins University with a full ride, pursuing a degree in the science field in preparation for medical school. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my... Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my final board report for Lynwood High School. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 9B, Superintendent's Report, 9B1, Presentation, Budget, and LCAP Update. Superintendent.
And President Morales, I'm going to move to the podium. I'm going to ask our Assistant Director of Secondary, Ms. Arosigi Manson, and Ms. Selena Pinello to help me out with the next presentation.
Good evening, Board President, board members, and cabinet members. As you guys heard, our student speakers, they're here every board meeting. They get emails from me, hounding from me to make sure that they're here and represented at every board meeting. So it's an honor to recognize them for all of their efforts. And so we'd like to, want to go ahead and read?
So just, we're going to miss all of you. You have done a fantastic job this year during incredible challenges. So we have a plaque for each one of you, and it reads, for your dedicated service as a student representative to the board for the 21-22 school year, and it's signed the Board of Education. And I'm going to just read one of the resolutions, and then I'll read a little bit for each one of them as well. Whereas Miguel Conejo successfully completed his term as student representative to the Board of Education and has performed his duties in an exemplary manner, and whereas Miguel is an articulate, intelligent Lynwood Community Adult School student and his reports have been well organized, comprehensive, and delivered with clarity and sincerity, and whereas the Lynwood Unified School District Board of Education has welcomed his interests, concerns, and advice in many topics that come before the board, and whereas Miguel has been a loyal member of the Lynwood Unified School District, demonstrated in his dedication and commitment to his studies. He is enrolled in the high school diploma program, has excelled in all subjects, and will be graduating tomorrow, right? As valedictorian of the class of 2022, Miguel is motivated to pursue higher education and plans to enroll in college next fall. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of the Lynwood Unified School District commends Miguel Conejo for his dedicated service, expresses its appreciation for his warm friendship, and extends its best wishes as he continues his education in the fall of '22. That a copy, and further be resolved that a copy of the resolution be made an integral part of the minutes of the June 9th, '22 meeting of the Lynwood Unified School District, passed and adopted by the governing board on June 9th, and signed by our board president, Mr. Morales, and myself, superintendent. So Miguel, would you please come up and be recognized? All right, next we have Carla Aguirre Herrera. Carla is an articulate, intelligent pathway high school student, and her reports have been well organized, comprehensive, and delivered with clarity and sincerity. Carla has been a loyal member of the Lynwood Unified School District, demonstrated in her dedication and commitment to her studies. She also enjoys dancing and hopes to travel the world. The Lynwood Unified School District commends Carla Aguirre Herrera for her dedicated service, expresses its appreciation for her warm friendship, and extends its best wishes as she continues her education in the fall of '22 at Cypress College to major in sonography. Come on up, Carla. All right, I'm going to have Dana Castañeda please stand. Dana is an articulate, intelligent Vista High School student, and her reports have been well organized, comprehensive, and delivered with clarity and sincerity. Whereas Dana has been a loyal member of the Lynwood Unified School District, demonstrated in her dedication and commitment to her studies. She enjoys working out, playing soccer, listening to music, and spending time with friends and family. Therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of Lynwood Unified School District commends Dana Castañeda for her dedicated service, expresses its appreciation for her warm friendship, and extends its best wishes as she continues her education in the fall of '22 at Cerritos College to major in childcare and development as she aspires to pursue a career in education and hopes to become a teacher in Lynwood Unified, right? All right. All right, well, next I'm going to ask Natalia Oloki to please stand. So whereas Natalie has been a loyal member of Lynwood Unified School District, demonstrated in her dedication and commitment to her studies. She has a 3.08 GPA, is the president of ASB, member of AVID, and has taken AP and IB courses. She has been a member of the Lynwood Alumni Mentorship Program, EduCare, Wholehearted Foundation, and Girls Empowerment Club. Now therefore be it resolved that the governing board of the Lynwood Unified School District commends Natalia and for her dedicated service, expresses its appreciation for her warm friendship, and extends its best wishes as she continues her education in the fall of '22 at Cerritos and will study psychology. She plans to transfer to a four-year university within the UC or Cal State system.
Congratulations and thank you. And each of our student reps will also be receiving today a scholarship made on behalf of the Lynwood Partners Education Foundation. All right, Zaira Hernandez, who's been here before, 2 years now. So whereas Zaira Hernandez Diaz successfully completed her term as student rep to the Board of Education and has performed her duties in an exemplary manner, Zaira has been a loyal member of the Lynwood Unified School District, demonstrating her dedication and commitment to her studies. She has a 4.3 GPA, is the ASB Commissioner of Student Affairs and President of the National Honor Society. She is a member of the United Dreamers and has taken AP courses. She also volunteers with the American Red Cross of the Los Angeles region and the Youth Executive Corps. She has worked doing research with Charles Drew University. She is currently ranked number 13 in the top 20 of the class of 22. And whereas now therefore be it resolved that the Governing Board of Lynwood Unified School District commends Zaira Hernandez Diaz for her dedicated service, expresses its appreciation for her warm friendship, and extends its best wishes as she continues her education in the fall of 22 at not Stanford, not Cornell, not Emory, but at Johns Hopkins University with a major in medicine, science, and the humanities. Thank you so much, Zaira.
So as they're taking some group pictures up there, and before we get into the LCAP, and I know we have our top 10s coming up, I think I want to say something that's in general for all our students. And sometimes it gets lost in the work that we do until I'm sitting up there and I'm hearing, what we're doing and seeing you guys out here. You're the reason we're here. And this is what it's about. And it's amazing. It's the reason we come to work every day. It's the reason I've been on this board for so many years. It's to see you guys blossom. You're our finished product. This is what Lynwood Unified does. No matter where you guys go, you guys make sure they know you're from Lynwood, because you guys deserve everything you're going to have coming your way. And you're going to be able to do whatever you want. I know that, some people are going to community colleges, some people are going to trade schools, some people are going to four-year institutions, but that's what we're here for, to make sure you guys have options, that you guys have 6 or 7 schools you get into and decide to go to the one you want to go to on a full ride. That kind of stuff is amazing, and you guys are all going to do amazing and powerful things. And just make sure that they know that you come from Lynwood. And when you guys are ready, come back, because there are other kids that need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Arosigi Manson. Now Ms. Minello is going to take us through a brief presentation on the LCAP, and it's on for tonight's agenda as a draft, and we do plan on making some additional adjustments and bringing it back at the end of the month for approval.
Good evening, everyone. Next slide, please. Okay, so as you're aware, the LCAP is comprised of 2 core components. Focuses on equity for all students, which serves the basic grant, and then secondly, to increase or to improve support for English learners, low-income, and foster youth students through the supplemental and concentration grants. Next slide. Our LCAP encompasses or describes our school district goals, key goals for students, specific actions that we'll take to achieve those goals, ways to measure the progress, as well as a spending plan that's allocated to those goals. As you are aware, the LCAP is not an isolated document. We actually are fortunate to have our various engagement with our community partners. So here's a list of our partners, our community voice that comes together to help us develop the LCAP. Next slide. We're fortunate as the slide comes through, some of the committee members here, you see the Parent Advisory Committee, the DLAC English Language Advisory Committee, African American Parent Advisory Committee, and also our union partners. Next slide. So the LCAP encompasses 5 goals. These 5 goals focus on a diverse student population and their needs. Next slide. So this component of the LCAP, I'm just going to share briefly a few highlights from each of the goals that we focused on this year. So in our goal number 1 that has to do with English language arts and math, we expanded professional development to include social-emotional learning. We also focused on training to help with keeping our students in rigorous courses and succeeding and on the A through G track. Goal number 2 has to do with our English learners, where we highlighted or actually highly promoted our biliteracy pathway, which allows students to, throughout their educational career, to be recognized in 2 languages, proficient in English and a second language. So at the end of their high school career, they would be recognized by the state of California to be biliterate in English and another language. Next slide. Goal number 3 has to do with our professional development and serving high-quality teachers who are fully credentialed. In this area, we added, not only provided individualized learning plans for all our students, but we also focused on social justice standards and lessons, as well as added social-emotional supports for students and staff, and we'll be adding social-emotional coaches, 12 for the coming school year. Next slide. In this area here, we focused on college and career. We continue to provide arts, VAPA, and STEM at all our schools across our district. We also have provided additional pathways for entrepreneurship and continue to provide college and career centers on all our campuses to help students move forward beyond their high school years. Next slide. Goal 5 has to do with our parent engagement, family engagement. We continue to provide our parents with an academy where they can be taught or provided resources. We also turn to those academies to gather feedback from our parents and from our various committees. And we also continue to provide various voluntary opportunities for our parents. And this concludes the LCAP highlights. Are there any questions?
And if we can just show the next slide too. So there's still an open opportunity for the community, staff, parents, students to provide feedback and suggestions. It can be dropped off in person here at our office. They can be emailed to Dr. Dinkins, and there's her email address. There's also on our website an LCAP link where people can submit their comments, and there's also a Google document. So there's 4 different ways that people can still submit comments, and by June 15th would be ideal because it gives us about a few days, basically about 4 days to work on it over the weekend to finalize the plan before it goes to board for approval and to the county as well.
Thank you, Dr. Crossway. Thank you.
Dr. Crossway, I have a quick comment on the LCAP. Just wanted to say thank you for your presentation, and as part of the committee for the LCAP, appreciate all of the committee members that dedicated their time in ensuring that our programs are meeting the students' needs and are aligned to funding. I also want to say thank you to the parents in our community. We had over 1,350 parent surveys that came back with great feedback. We are looking forward to looking a little deeper at that feedback and making some great progress with that. Muchísimas gracias a todos los padres que participaron en la encuesta. Tuvimos más de 1,350 padres y personal de la comunidad. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next we have, accompanying this presentation is the budget presentation by Mr. Fromm. And then after that is our students, all students.
Good evening. So this slide that's up here now is probably the most important slide that I have to present tonight. And the reason it is because it reminds us why we're all here. Like Mr. Morales was saying, we're here for the kids, right? Budget is developed to meet the needs to support the students in the classroom. So this is the most important slides. There are young children there, older children. You all started off here, kindergarten, moved your way up. Now you're going on to the next level of your education. But this is for you guys. This is why we're here. This is our most important slide. Next slide, please. So I'm not going to talk much about this one. You've seen this 3 times a year. Budget cycle, we're here in June where we did the LCAP and budget preliminary presentations. 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be back to adopt it. Then in December, first interim, March, second interim, and then we're right back at it again next June, and it's very fluid and it keeps on going. Next slide, please. This is just a brief slide of funding in the state. If you watch the news at all, you can see where it has historic highs in terms of funding at the state. The bars over to your far right there, 22-23 year, the one on the left there is what the governor released at the first of the year. Next to that on the right side of that is the difference from what he did on the first of the year to what he released in May, where he increased because the funding came in to the funds at the state level higher than expected. Next slide, please. This slide shows you Prop 98 minimum guarantee, how it has increased since 1988, far on the left there, all the way to the 22-23 school year. As you can see, it started off, I have to put my glasses on for the number, 381, and we're up to 110,334, and that's in millions in that, so over that time period. But even though you would look at this graph and you'd say, wow, California is doing a great job funding their schools, California is still one of the lowest funding states for per student in the US. So even though this chart looks good, we're still, if you compare that to the rest of the states in the whole United States, we're still at the bottom. So there's still a lot of work to be done. Next slide, please. This slide here just shows the comparison of from the first of the year to May, how it changed, where the LCFF increased from his proposal of $3.3 billion to $6.1. The minimum guarantee, as you can see over the past 3 years, based on the governor's release at the beginning of the year compared to May. So for next year, in the first of the year, it was $102 billion to May revised $110 billion. The COLA changed too. It was originally forecasted at 5.33. Now it's at 6.56. And in May revised, the governor came out with $8 billion in one-time funding as well, and an increase to the base, which he proposed. Next slide, please. Here are some key assumptions that we used to develop our 22-23 budget. First one is our ADA. We've been talking about this in here for years, our enrollment's going down. We're not funded based on the amount of kids enrolled in our schools. We're funded based on the amount of kids that show up the percentage of the time. But we have to staff, we have to plan as if all the students are showing up in that. So just like that, we're one of 6 states that still fund the schools based that way. And it's really not a good way to fund the schools because you're funding us based on a percentage of kids that show up, but you have to staff like every kid's going to show up, and you have to be prepared like every kid's going to show up in that. So there's a flaw in the system there, but it's a system we have to work within. So he changed it this past year where your ADA, you have 2 options where it used to be. based on, if you're declining, you can go based on the past year. If you're not, you can go on the current year to determine the funding that you're going to receive. They added a third option for this year of the fact that you could go, if you're not declining, you can go current year, or if you are, you could go a rolling average of the past 3 years in that. So 1920, 2021, and then 1920 a year, like we've been able to do for the past 2 years. What they propose is we can use that percentage. So for our percentage in 1920 was around 95%. So we can use that one towards our number for this year. That's what it was proposed at. Now there's 2 red stars there because the legislation side of the House came out with their proposal based on the governor's May revise, and they took that away in their proposal. It's still there that you have the 3-year rolling, but they don't have in their proposal to use the percentage from the 1920 and that. So that's where the talks are going on right now up in Sacramento. We have the COLA for 6.56. That did not change at all from the governor's May revise to the legislators' version. $2.1 billion to add to the base based on the May revise, which will give us an increase of approximately $5 million more in LCFF funding. That's also changed as well. The legislative side wanted to increase that more, but they also took away the fact to be able to use our percentage from the 1920 year as well. So we'll see how that all shakes out when they finally adopt come by the end of June. And there's a one-time discretionary block grant that is in there. Now, that changed too with the legislators. In the May revise, there was no restrictions on that. On the legislative side now, they have restrictions on that proposal. It has to go for staffing costs, retirement costs, OPEB costs, things along that line, to salaries and benefits and stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see what changes on that in terms of how that money can be spent. Next slide, please. Few more key assumptions that we use. Approximately, I'll just point out a few. We budget step and column is an increase for us for all units of 1.5%, STRS rate of 19.1, PERS rate of 25.37. Substitute teachers, we're budgeting at $2.1 million. That was the expense that we incurred last year, or this current year. Electricity is going up as well, budgeting at $2.2 million. Payment on our COPs that are out there, and our property and liability insurance renewal at $1.5 million. Next slide, please. A few more key assumptions there. I'm going to highlight a few of them. Budget for our copier here at the district-wide, $750,000. We have to put 3% into our routine restricted maintenance, which is approximately $6.1 million, and we budgeted the $16 million of the one-time block grant dollars that is out there. We still don't know how we'll be able to spend those based on May revise and legislators, so we'll know by the end of June if there's restrictions or not on those funds. Next slide, please. Few more just key assumptions over the next 3 years, because when we adopt, we have to project out our current year, which is 22-23, then 2 years out, which will be the 23-24 school year and the 24-25. As you can see, our ADA is going down because our enrollment's going down. You can see the COLAs in the next few years. Like I said, 6.56 this year, 5.38 next year, and 4.02 in 24-25. Next slide, please. This here is just the general fund, unrestricted MYP. Highlight a few areas. Those are our salaries, benefits, the 1s, 2s, and 3s we call them up there, the first 3 of them there. You can see the projected costs for those in the next 3 years. Down below, highlighted in the red, I just want to point out that's our contribution that we have to make to special ed and routine restricted maintenance. That goes up as we go across the years. And at the bottom, the fund balance is decreasing because we're still having a deficit spending in our out years as well. Next slide, please. Here's where our reserves are sitting in our MYP. Right now, the minimum reserve is 3%. For next year, 4.6%, and then 23-24, it's at 3%. Next slide, please. Budget concerns going forward. Next slide. This is an important slide. We all are feeling inflation out there. Just drive by a gas station, go into a store, the change of prices. So in 16-month period of time, if you look all the way to the left there, it was 1.4%. Fast forward 16 months, it is 8.3%. That's a huge increase, and we're all feeling it, and it's not going away anytime soon. And that really affects us too in things we need to buy, right? Supplies, equipment, HVAC equipment, different things along that line. That's all going to affect the power of our dollar here. With inflation going up, we'll get less for our dollar. Next slide, please. ADA cliff we talked about. I'm not going to go into any more details of the proposals that are out there. We're hoping that they will keep in from the May revise to be able to use that percentage from the 1920 school year, because that makes our decline not like this, but a little bit like this, a softer going down, and that will help us out in the out years. So stay tuned. I'll provide an update in July once everything is signed, sealed, and delivered and passed by the state. Next slide. We talked about this. We'll go on to the next slide. Here's a huge concern that we have. This is our K-12 enrollment projections from our demographic study that we do each fall. As you can see, this next school year, our enrollment's projected for the 22-23 school year at 11,383 students. Fast forward to the 28-29 school year, it's projected to be 8,306 students. That's a big drop off. All of LA County is in declining enrollment pretty much. Pretty much the whole state is in declining enrollment. And I bring this up as a concern because we have to make sure that we tailor our operating expenses to parallel this line here. As our enrollment goes down, it means the dollars that we get is going to go down, so we have to make sure we parallel our expenses, operating expenses, employee costs, all the operating expenses to our funding that goes in. Next slide, please. Because if we don't, this is what we're dealing with here. This is how our multi-year projection looks right now. A deficit spending next year at $6.3 million. In 23-24 projected to go up to $12 million and $18.1 million in the 24-25 school year. We need to address that, so we bring that down. If we don't, it's just going to keep on growing. Next slide, please. Here's another big issue is the district's contribution to employee retirement system. This is CalPERS. As you can see, the rates are going up. This year it's 25.37, 25.2. Next year, they're talking about maybe allowing districts to use some of those one-time dollars, Prop 98 dollars to pay those down, but economists and lobbyists that work for the schools doesn't think that those base monies for Prop 98 that's supposed to be used to teach and educate our students should be used for that cost. They feel that it should be a separate item to pay that down, not use the Prop 98 dollars, because those need to go to educate our students, not to pay those down in that. So we'll see what that plays out at up at the state level. Next slide is the CalSTRS. That's locked in at 19.1%. Then they're predicting that will stay locked in until 2046. Well, that's good news there. So we'll see if there's any budget act that happens before the end of this fiscal year where they'll give us money to buy those down. If that will help us out immensely. Next slide, please. Here's our next steps. 2 weeks from now, we'll be bringing forward to you a budget to adopt. We'll continue to identify things that we can move from unrestricted to restricted funds. Most likely 45-day budget revise we'll bring back to you based on what's officially adopted and then we'll be back up here. I will be December 15th presenting first interim report. Any questions?
Actually, I don't have any questions. We are very familiar with the budget. The only thing that I see is that we need to be very careful with that deficit spending, because that's the long-term expenditures. And I think that we are already doing it, reducing the task force. So thank you so much for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now for our top 10 students, I know we have our high schools, and Ms. Rosa Manson will lead this presentation.
four-year university, and at Fireball we had 68%, so that was an increase of last year. And there are the numbers that show how many of them went to the Cal State application, the UC, and the private. So I just wanted to give a round of applause to the efforts in making sure that we continue to have the college-going mindset. Whether or not our kids decide to or not, we want them to be ready to get accepted. And along with that application, next slide, we have to make sure that they can pay for college. So that is the effort from October to November. December, January, February, we live FAFSA. So this is the FAFSA completion rate out of our schools, Vista, Lynwood High, and Fireball. So you can see we had an increase. It was really high at Fireball to begin with, but we still managed to beat that record at 96% this year, and hopefully next year we're at 100%.
And Ms. Rosa, you mentioned, excuse the interruption, this is one of the highest rates, everyone, in the state of California, right? It's one of the highest ones. Typically, a district will go from a 60 to 70%. So this is just really incredible. And those of you who have helped out or have ever done a FAFSA, including our seniors who are here tonight, it's a lot of work. It's not easy. It can be a little intimidating. So the fact that we're up there in the mid-90s is just an incredible accomplishment. So thank you so much for that.
Yes, our CARBE team got recognized for the efforts, and we're going to be presenting at some workshops in regards to what we're doing here. And people are calling and asking us, what are we doing over here in Lynwood to get our FAFSA numbers so high? So congratulations.
If I may, one of the reasons why this is so important, and I've said it before, but I'll say it again, is there is a direct correlation, studies have shown, between the amount of students that apply for FAFSA and that actually go to school, because then it becomes a reality, it becomes viable because they have the financial means. So if you get this far, it's much more likely for you to go to college. And that's why it's really important for us that we offer this to our students, and we push them because now the money's not going to be the issue because there's a way to figure it out. So thank you very much for
Yes,
staff.
absolutely. And a lot of our community colleges, you have to fill out the FAFSA to take advantage of the Promise program. So we really are pushing to make sure all of our students are covered in that area. So that's our highlights for the class of 2022 with FAFSA and college applications. Next slide. So we want to recognize our top 10 students. And so here tonight I have, next slide. Dr. Montes is going to be announcing our top 10 at Fireball High School first. So.
Good evening, everyone. And my name is Jose Montes, and I'm the proud principal at Fireball High School. This group of students here are exceptional in every way, but they also represent everyone in the Lynwood community. These are our children. These are who we do what we do for, and it is my pleasure to introduce them. So at number 10, we have Yareli Cervantes with a 4.34 GPA, who will be attending UCLA in the fall. At number 9, we have Stephanie Aviles with a 4.35 GPA, who will be attending UC Irvine in the fall. Next, we'll have Victor Acuña with a 4.35 GPA, who will be attending UCLA in the fall. At number 7, we have Brianna Matamoros with a 4.36 GPA, attending Cal State Long Beach in the fall. At number 6, We have Chelsea Gonzalez with a 4.37 GPA, who will be attending NYU in the fall. At number 5, we have Yesenia Luján with a 4.38 GPA, attending USC in the fall. At number 4, we have Gwendolyn Molina with a 4.47 GPA, attending Cal State Long Beach in the fall. At number 3, we have Evelyn Miguel Vargas with a 4.48 GPA, attending USC in the fall. Our salutatorian, Luis Sanchez, with a 4.59 GPA, will be attending Stanford in the fall. And our valedictorian, Michelle Lopez, with a 4.54 GPA, will be attending Stanford in the fall.
Get on the other end. As they're taking their photos, I'd like to go ahead and call up Mrs. Gonzalez, Anna Gonzalez from Lynwood High School, to announce her top 10. At this point, if we have any Lynwood High parents that are waiting in the hallway, please come on in, because we're going to be recognizing your students.
Okay, good evening. As Lynwood High School proud principal, I'm here to introduce and congratulate our top 10. At number 10, Ashley Nunez with a 4.35 will be attending USC in the fall. Number 9, Ashley Avendano with a 4.37 will be attending Cal Poly Pomona in the fall. Another number 7, Laura Franco Ramirez with a 4.40 will be attending UC Irvine. Number 5, Eduardo Zuniga with a 4.40 will be attending UCLA in the fall. He is also not here tonight. Number 4, Celeste Noriega with a 4.52 will be attending Stanford in the fall. Number 3, Evelyn Gomez with a 4.53 will be attending UCLA in the fall. Another number 3, Kaylin Cañez with a 4.53 will be attending UCLA in the fall. And now our salutatorian, Denise Ortiz, with the 4.54, will be attending USC, not UCLA. I promise that wasn't my fault. And our valedictorian, Chris Gutierrez, with a 4.66, will be attending Stanford in the fall. Congratulations.
If they can take pictures back there in the backdrop. So we actually have a backdrop for you guys today that we brought in, so you guys can take all the pictures you want before you leave here. Okay, so our next slide, we have our top scholars for each of our locations, each of our sites. So first, we want to start with Miguel Conejo from our adult ed school. Come on up, Miguel. From Pathway, we have Melanie Martinez. So Mr. Ramirez, you want to come up and, Mr. Enrique, do you want to come up and take a picture with him? From Vista High, we have Natalie Hernandez. Come on up, Natalie. And Natalie. Natalie Hernandez, come on up from Vista. Oh, and then we got Pathway. Okay. From Fireball High School, we have Michelle Lopez. Michelle Lopez, come on up. And from Lynwood High School, we have Christopher Gutierrez. Christopher, come on up. Yes, our flowers today were donated by Fantasy Flowers for all of our top scholars. So thank you, Fantasy Flowers. How about another round of applause for our top scholars? They work really hard, and we're very, very proud of them.
So just briefly, I want to acknowledge Miguel Conejo. I want to acknowledge you because I remember the first school board meeting we had, and you struggled to speak up there. And I can only imagine that it was a fear you had about sitting up here and giving these board reports. But let me tell you, you've blossomed, your English has become so much better, and it's when we do things that challenge us when we have breakthroughs. So I want to acknowledge you for that and continue to have breakthroughs in your education and in your careers to come. So congratulations.
And Mr. Morales, we just have a few more slides here. So tonight if I can go to the next slide, please. So tonight, we have a resolution for the seal by literacy. This is now our third year. This was a bill that was adopted, California legislature back in 2017, began implementation in 2018. So we're happy to just share some additional information regarding the seal by literacy. Again, it's our year 3, and this is a picture for one of our schools recognizing our students. And this is a recognition for students who graduate with multiple languages. Next slide, please. And so here, one of the things that we're doing differently now is moving forward is we're going to, as it was indicated in the LCAP presentation, is creating a seal by literacy pathway. And I won't read all this information, but it's another way to be able to recognize our students starting at the end of 6th grade, 8th grade, and then through high school. And our students, and next slide. And as you can see here, one of our students who's here tonight is also, our students will be recognized at the graduation along with a medal and a seal on their diploma. And so the numbers of students that we're recognizing each year goes up, and the numbers continue to go up, especially after we get the AP results and IB results during the summer. Did I miss anything else?
Nope,
All
that's
right.
it. So we just are really proud of our kids. We left you guys an example of the seal that they will be wearing on graduation next week, that we're really honored and proud of our kids being bilingual in both English proficiency and in another language such as Mandarin or Spanish. So congratulations. And then we have a list of our students who received this recognition on the next 2 slides.
Yeah, if you can go to the next 2 slides, just to show the names. Again, but the students were recognized at their respective schools. And again, the number as of today is 95, but that doesn't capture the students who will also be recognized after the AP and IB results come back during the summer. So thank you very much, and congratulations. It's a commitment that we made quite a few years ago. And so tonight we have for you for consideration a resolution to formalize that commitment on behalf of the Lynwood Uniform.
Thank you. Are there any comments my colleagues would like to make to our students? Because I'm sure they're going to rush off and go finish finals or something. Any comments anybody would like to make to the students before they leave?
Good evening. I just want to welcome all of you, and we are very proud. I wish every board meeting we can have this population of so intelligent kids. And on the other hand, we have lived with these 5 adolescents for 24 meetings. We lived together, we grew together. We saw them when they came the first time, like Mr. Alfonso said. But in reality, I can see them, that future so bright, because they have a leadership. I've been seeing Shaira growing so high. She's been in the state of the district address, Washington, Sacramento, and then the rest of the students. For example, I can say also Dana Castañeda, we are so close with her too, and their dedication is tremendous. Natalie Oloki, Miguel Conejo, and also Carla Aguirre Herrera. So we are so proud of them for being here and for the time that they spend with their students and with us. At the same time, I want to congratulate all the students, not only the 10 top, because I know you are that dedicated one. You being so close to the books that you are here tonight being recognized. And for us, it's a great honor to honor you all. I want to recognize Celeste from the bottom of my heart. She went to my house and said, hey, Familia Lopez, I have the banner for you from Stanford. And we couldn't believe she just got there and showed up one of these, the past, I think like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, but we were so happy to see her that she was accepted at Stanford. Like anyone, everybody is being accepted at the highest universities. And for us as a board, we cannot be happier to see that success because all of you are going to go so high. Thank you so much for all you've been doing for this community and for everything that you are going to come back and do. Thank you so much, families.
Good evening, everyone, and for our students that are have journeys ahead, going off to colleges, to universities, and trade schools, just want to congratulate you for doing an amazing work as Lynwood Unified Scholars, and remind you that our Lynwood community, Lynwood Unified, is here to continue to support you in your dreams. Felicidades a los padres también por apoyar a sus hijos en estos sueños. Gracias.
And just for me, I just wanted to congratulate all of our students, no matter where you are in the rankings. I know it was a tough labor to get there, especially with 2 of your years, including this one being a pandemic year. You missed out on a ton of activities and socializing with your peers, but you focus on your studies. That's why you're here in front of us today. Like Mr. Morales said, you are the product that we're trying to produce, and you give us so much pride as Lynwood alumni, as board members, to see you all here today. And whenever I get tired of working a job and then serving on the board, sitting in traffic trying to get to meetings, these moments are what energize me, because this is you crossing one finish line and going on to the next. And I hope that as you go to universities, your community colleges, that you have a chance to interact with your fellow Lynwood alumni, or you might find them. I'm already on my phone pinging them about the students that I know that are going to their schools. It's just an honor to be a part of the Lynwood family, and when you find alumni somewhere, it's a special moment. And I just see Mr. Morales and I are always competing about which students go to UCLA and USC. I think UCLA had the edge tonight, but we can only do that because you all work so hard to get the recognition to be admitted to these great and wonderful schools. And I just am so happy to, when I go to my board member conferences throughout the year, to be bragging about my Lynwood kids, my other school boards, and talking about the things that you all do. It gives us great, tremendous pride and recognition. As Ms. Rostigi Madsen said, people are wondering what we're doing over here in Lynwood because of the work that you all do and your families as well. So congratulations.
First, I want to thank our student representatives for being with us here for the past year, representing your schools very thoroughly and punctually. during our board meeting. So thank you and good luck in your endeavors. And I'm gonna put someone on the spot right here, Natalie Oyoki. You know, when Dr. Coswell was up there, he mentioned that she's going to Cerritos. I'm like, wait a minute, she's a senior? Like, I remember she was in my baseball team back in 2018, and seeing her in Lynwood Middle School and then off at Fireball, and I'm just like, wow, time just flies. And I think because COVID kind of took 2 years away from us too, so it's like, phew. But anyway, congratulations to you all and to our top 10 students here. Good luck in all your endeavors. You guys have worked really hard for those GPAs and to get into the schools that you guys chose to go. And to the parents, grandparents, aunts, older brothers, sisters, and I say that because I work as a teacher. I know that it's not always mom and dad in a picture. So congratulations to you guys as well. Felicidades, because this is also your doing for supporting your kids and continuing to support them. And last night I was having a phone conversation with somebody in our community who also has a child in college. Actually goes to my alma mater, and we were talking about how difficult college can be. And on the phone, I told her when she asked me, how can I help? How can I continue to help her? And I was like, when your child calls you, answer the phone. Because sometimes when college gets really difficult, it gets very challenging both emotionally, mentally, and psychologically. And it's not all the same thing, by the way. Mentally and psychologically is two different things. And sometimes we just need to listen to a familiar voice, especially for those who are going far away. It's not a bad thing. For me, I went to college far away. For me, it was an adventure. It was something that helped me grow, but it always was hard to be far away from home. So good luck to you all, and parents, congratulations.
Lastly, there's a saying in Spanish, por bueno o por malo, ya se acabó. We're done. I looked at the schools you guys are going to, all those big name brand schools, and for me, one of the commitments that I have to my community is to give the best possible education to your kids. And I wish that if I could tell every parent that their kid's going to go to USC or UCLA or Stanford, that they would not want to bring their kids to this district. And I've always said, we're going to be better, and we have been better, and we're going to continue to be better, and you're the proof that we're better. And we're going to continue to strive to send more kids to the schools they want to go to big name schools, because our kids can do everything and anything. And there's not another school district that's better. I've always said the biggest influence in a child's education is their parents, and that's been, I think, something that's a testament here. But I hope that we've been able to give you the tools to be able to succeed and to compete with any student out there. And there'll be times that'll be tough. You have to be mentally ready, and if you're not, reach out, like my colleague said. But say goodbye to Latinos and African American students, and say hello to white America and Asian America, because it's going to be a culture clash for you. But it's okay. You guys can survive. You're the best of the best. You're the top of the cream. So don't doubt yourselves. Remember where you come from, and that's what I mean when I say when you go there, you make sure you own the place and you do something that they remember and they say, well, where are you from? You're from Lynwood. You guys, congratulations and good luck. This is probably a good time if you guys would like to leave and go to dinner or get ready. We're going to continue with our board meeting. So, si se gustan tomar unas fotos o irse ya, es un buen tiempo porque vamos a ir con nuestra junta, pero tal vez tengan cosas que hacer. Y les agradecemos por estar esta noche con nosotros, okay? Thank you guys for being with us tonight. We'll take a quick 2-minute break, and then we'll reconvene. For June 9th, 2022. We're going to continue with our board meeting. If you guys can continue, you may continue to take pictures. If you can do so quietly, please, so we can continue with our board meeting. We're at the board member reports. Ms. Lopez, board member report, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. I don't know if all of you noticed that from the top 10 from Lynwood High and Fireball, only 2 boys were on the top and 2 from the high school. From Fireball was Victor and Luis, and then from the high school, Eduardo and Chris. I think that we need to do a better job with the boys. Probably somebody can adopt the kids. So, because I saw that the majority, that 90%, 95% were girls, and something is going on there that we need to support the boys too. And on the other hand, I've been very busy these past weeks. I attend 7 graduations already, and all of them very fast and very nice graduations that actually has been like one after the other. Also, on last Friday, we attend Passage. It was drive-through Passage.
Rites of Passage.
It was really nice too. And the same day, I attend a staff recognition for Crossroads, and they honor 185 employees. It was a big event at Mona Park. And I want to report that the CALAPS, I attended the board meeting last Tuesday, and I have to report that we have very good news. We have the accreditation for 3 years, the first one, and then we were certified as a positive on the budget. So it's very good news to be, like the first accreditation, we got 3 years. So basically, it's it for me. Thank you.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. It is a night of celebration, and like Ms. Lopez shared, we, together, many of our board colleagues, we've attended and celebrated the elementary school promotions this week that have been very exciting to see families, grandparents, a lot of grandparents coming out. Over the last couple of weeks, some of the events that I was a part of was one of them at Will Rogers Elementary School, where we have our dual language program. All of our students were recognized to Pathway to the Seal of Biliteracy. So just last year, November 2021, the California Department of Education put out some new information about recognizing students through this K-12 pathway, and I'm really happy to support our resolution today. Lynwood Unified has recognized students as seniors, but we're now really making a bigger commitment to continue to recognize from early grades all the way through high school. Wilson Elementary School had an amazing PBIS celebration, I want to say a week and a half ago, and students were very excited. There's a lot of fun music, and our staff at Wilson, including with our principal and our administrators, are just loving and caring and are always really engaging our students with fun activities. So I just want to give a shout out to Wilson. Part of last week was also Lynwood High School, Ms. Alfaro and Ms. Abbas had a Rock the Vote event in the gym, and really building awareness for the elections that just passed. The students did an amazing job in their reports, and want to thank our teachers at Lynwood High School for that. Last Friday, our board president, myself, and a couple of other city members, we convened in a safety meeting and just really having conversations about improving collaboration and safety in our entire community. And then that same Friday, I was a part of the Lynwood Community Advisory Council that happened at Lynwood High School. It was the first meeting at our special education center, and it was great to see many of us were there, and I know that that center had been maybe, Mr. Board President, remind me, I don't know if it was 15 years in the planning and the making with you and Ms. Lopez and Mr. Hardy and many others. And parents are really happy to have that special education center and are now using it. As Ms. Lopez said, we together celebrated our students with Crossroads, cheered our students in the rites of passage last Friday. And then this past Saturday, there was a Feria de la Salud in collaboration with our district and the city and many other partners, and our Lynwood High School students and other students participated, a lot of families and a lot of resources. This week, we had our last LCAP committee meeting, and I want to just say thank you to Dr. Sanko, equity team, and the entire LCAP committee for their leadership on this process. Marshall Elementary School, yesterday, I was at the theatrical performance, the Juneteenth celebration, with an important theme to remind us all to share our story. And this afternoon, under the leadership of Mr. Frum and his team, we were part of the Safety Task Force meeting. Our Lynwood City was also part of this, and other educational partners, and really ideating about how can we continue to promote safe campuses, a safe city, and engage our families in the process. I also went today to Vista Awards ceremony and just want to share, Educare is always so amazing to help and support our students at Vista. They had an amazing, fun band. Our families and our moms from BCC always presente as they have been at the graduation ceremonies. And I asked students, what do you take from Vista? And I think I shared this with my colleague Julian just a few minutes ago, but just to close my commentary this evening, I'm going to share what students stated. We like Vista because of the environment. Teachers want to be here to teach us. Teachers care. They help you. They give us a second chance. They know my name, and they're like familia. And that really touched my heart. All of our Vista students and educators at the school want to be there, and we as a board are very, very happy to support all of our educators working with our students. Again, congratulations to all students, class of 2022. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to extend my congratulations to all of the graduating families, the students especially. Enjoyed getting out to one graduation so far, so got a lot of work to do to catch up to Ms. Lopez, but just exciting to be amongst our families in person again, being able to celebrate their accomplishments. And I'm happy to hear that there are meetings happening again on school safety. The School Safe Collaborative goes back to 2018, and now following the shooting in Texas, one's mind about what we can do to keep schools safe. So I'm hoping we can continue a robust conversation about school safety, but also to recognize the great work that we've been doing since 2018 to make our schools safer. Specifically, the new entrances at Lincoln, Wilson, and Washington were an effort that came out of this task force, understanding that we needed to create physical barriers to make sure that our students are safe by having a buffer between the outside community and the school campus. So looking forward to continuing this dialogue and want to make sure that we are including parents and understanding what has been done, what is being done, and how our systems work, because I think absent information of that sort, people start to panic and assume nothing is being done. And this is sort of just watching the dialogue that I've seen on social media within the last week. Again, I know everybody is sort of anxious about what's going on in schools, because we keep hearing more and more reports out of Uvalde about how the system failed students there, how many more lives could have been saved had people acted in the right way. But I want to make sure that we circle back around to doing what's best for students and not being reactionary, but understanding the things that must be in place, the elements that must be true and exist to have a safe school that is conducive for our students' learning and development. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Del Real Calleros.
Thank you, Mr. President. So for my report, I have that last Friday, I had an opportunity to catch up to the rite of passage event. It was right before our special meeting last week, and I rushed from work over to in front of Bayman Hall, and I did miss most of it, but I was happy to be there for the closing remarks, and I was actually put on the spot by a former student. During the closing ceremony, I actually had to bite my cheek because, it's when you work in education, whether you're inside the classroom or whether you're a member of the board, it feels good to have students come to you and share with you how your involvement with your education, regardless of how in debt it was, has an impact in their lives. So it was great being there. Other than that, basically, it was good to hear that we were having those conversations about school safety. Again, especially because of what happened with Valdi. During the last regular school board meeting, we did have a moment of silence, but I didn't say anything towards the incident, more in depth to the incident, because it's kind of hard to process. It's still very hard to process everything, what happened there. And I was listening to some testimonials from a teacher who was in one of those classrooms, and how everything that was put in place kind of fell apart. And how the community is trying to move forward, and you hear the testimony from the parents and some of the children who were in those two classrooms that were affected. And it really tells us that it's good to revisit, and it's good that the school board already had something in place before I came on to review the safety of our campuses. And it's always good to take another look to ensure that everything is in its place, and that we ensure our schools are safe to the top. Thank you, Dr. Castro, for sharing those wonderful words about Vista High School. That I did graduate from Vista High School back in 2008, and trust me, it's a very, very different environment being at a student in Vista. You do feel more connected. Because it is a very small campus, there's a small student body, so everybody knows each other, and when I was at Lynwood High School, some of us were like, oh, that's the kid with the black jacket, or the kid with the mohawk, the kid with the flat top, or some nicknames that we would throw at each other. But at Vista, everything was like at a first name basis, whether you shared a classroom or not, whether you were friends or not, everything was first name basis, even with the teachers. So thank you for those wonderful words, and lastly, just congratulations to our students who will be graduating next week. We do have the Lynwood graduation, Vista graduation on Monday, followed by Lynwood on Tuesday and Fireball on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it, and congratulations to the parents of those graduating students as well. That's a formal report.
Thank you. No report by myself. Moving on to item number 10, request approval resolution 21-22/64 through 21-22/68. Accommodation of student representatives of the board for the
So moved.
2021-2022. Moved by Mr. Hardy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Castro. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Item passes 5-0 vote. Item 11, public comment and communications. Please submit public comments forms prior to the start of the meeting per board policy 9323. 3 minutes may be allotted each speaker to address all their items. If translation services are required, please state that. An additional 1 minute will be allotted. Approach the lectern and give your name. Arturo Navarro, followed by Martina Rodriguez.
Good evening, Board President, Mr. Alonso Morales, Board of Education members, Superintendent Dr. Crosswaite, Lynwood Cabinet members, and Lynwood community. My name is Arturo Navar, and I am proud principal of Lindbergh Elementary. Tonight, I come before you to say thank you, as this will be my final year as principal of Lindbergh Elementary. I want to genuinely thank Dr. Crosswaite and back then Dr. Gothold and the Board of Education for giving me the chance to lead and inspire not only the Lynwood community, students and parents, but also to collaborate with amazing certificated and classified staff. From the moment I arrived, I have to say, everyone here in Lynwood has welcomed me warmly. I remember Ms. Livier and Ms. Bryant welcoming me into the foyer and offering me water, offering me coffee, and I felt welcome in Lynwood from that point on. I was first hired in 2015 as assistant principal at Washington Elementary, where I had the privilege and honor to work under Ms. Wilson. Ms. Wilson helped me understand the rich history, and I want to emphasize rich history that Lynwood has, how to best support the community. Ms. Wilson, she is not here, but I can't thank you enough. She then hired an amazing instructional lead in Ms. Rita Soto. Together we united students, staff, and community, and in my opinion, we had two of the best years a new member to the Lynwood community can have. I then applied and was privileged to become principal at Lindbergh Elementary in 2017. What a community, what a staff, and amazing students. My 5 years at Lindbergh have enabled me to strengthen our office staff, build and entrust the relationships with our community, and ensure a safe reopening this school year alongside all of you here in the Lynwood Unified School District. Thank you to Ms. Rojo, and a special thank you to Ms. Munoz. You were there with me the entire time at Lindbergh, and I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you to Ms. Lara for my first 2 years there at Lindbergh. Thank you to each and every teacher, classified staff for welcoming me and for their professionalism. Thank you to Mr. Gallarzo, Mr. Cano, Mr. Rollis for all their wisdom and knowledge and helpful advice regarding the Lindbergh community. I could not have done this without the support of Dr. Crosswaite, Dr. Dinkins, and I want to emphasize every single department in the Lynwood Unified School District. Lastly, to all of our Lindbergh Flyers, it has truly been an honor to serve the Lynwood community, work alongside with all of our courageous principals and administrators, and become part of the Lindbergh family for the last 7 years. Thank you for giving me a long-term English learner. From a single-parent home, poverty, academic struggles, a chance to fulfill my dream as an administrator in your district. Thank you, and I wish all of you many continued blessings, health, and success.
Thank you, Mr. Noor. Good luck. Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes, hi, good evening. It's going to be just a short comment. I want to ask a point of privilege to meet with the board in closed session on next board meeting. As a constituent, I have the right to do so. I don't know if it's going to be the 5 of you or 3 of you or 2 of you. It's okay. I think I want to continue bringing the matters about Measure K and Measure N. I'm asking for an audit, and I think it has to be a walk-in audit that employees from this district need to go and evaluate every job that this company has done in this community. And one of the reasons is because I want to see for sure if that was not, we're not going to have the same issues that we're having now with the high school, that it was built in Imperial. There has been a lot of speculations. I had researched a lot of this company, what this company have done, not even just overpricing the projects, but also a sense of, and this is a speculations, intimidating people. And I think, I researched through outside this district, and they say that they pay certain politicians a lot of money, but it's filtered to friends and relatives to ensure that they're not connected with them. And I think because of this and other stuff that I have that I want to bring to you, I want to do it in closed session, and I want more response directly on the questions that I submitted, and I gave you, each one of you, a questionnaire of those answers. It's been a speculations, and it's been, but it says, it's just time limit that they find stuff on them, but it was because of the time limit that they couldn't do anything against this company. I think, like Mr. Morales says, you've been here a long time, and as a lawyer, you know the bigger responsibility and what it comes to us being and knowing the law, what could happen. And I think, we could go and sleep comfortable. If you guys, some of you have got money from this company, I'm sorry, but shame on you for doing that. Thank you.
And that is all of the public comments that we have. Moving on to the next item. Public hearing, 12A, public hearing on the 2022-2023 budget. Motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hardy,
Second.
second by Dr. Castro. Any discussion? Public comment has been opened. If there's any one who'd like to speak on the 2022-2023 budget, you may line up at the podium. Seeing no one, public
Motion to
comment
close.
communication been closed. Motion to close by Mr. Hardy,
Second.
second by Mr. Del Calleros. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Item passes 5-0 vote. Item 12B, public hearing on 2021-2024 local control and accountability plan.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hardy.
Second.
Second by Dr. Castro. Hearing is now open. You may come to the lectern if you'd like to speak. No one is there. Seeing none, motion to close.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hardy.
Second.
Second by Mr. Del Calleros. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is now closed, 5-0 motion. Board meeting minutes, item 13A1. Minutes,
Mr. Morales, I
Yes,
would like to
Ms. Lopez.
run both approval of both
13A1 and 13A2.
13A1 and 13A2.
Motion by Ms. Lopez to run both 13A1, 13A2.
Second.
Is there motion? Second by Mr. Hardy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, stand by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Item passed, 5-0 vote. Facilities, item 13B1 through 13B4. I'm sorry, 13B1. Is there a motion? Measure K and Measure N projects. Request approval of on-call services from Nino and Moore geotechnical and environmental scientist consultants for district-wide inspections and material testing.
I have a motion to move 13B1 to 13B4.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lopez, second by Mr. Hardy. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Item passed, 5-0 vote. Consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hardy for the consent agenda, second by Ms. Lopez. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Items passed, 5-0 vote. Item 15, reporting out of closed session.
With regard to item 5A, 1, the superintendent's evaluation, the board received information only, no final action taken.
And regarding, I believe there's a second item, right, which no information was provided.
That is correct.
Thank you. I'm sorry, there's no room for that right now on the agenda. 4.0? I can't, they can speak to staff after, maybe we can acknowledge some of their concerns. But I mean, unfortunately, I did open the matter today, just a couple minutes ago, no one. Is there a vehicle for that, General Counsel?
I don't.
And
They're
Ms.
gonna-
Ms. Pinello is here, who helped oversee the LCAP.
I'm gonna
and
have
she's
to,
available as
yeah, I'm
well.
gonna have to have him speak to staff because they just missed it. I have no problem hearing it, but just we can't do it today. But we'll be back on the 23rd. I understand, but are they using the services of the interpreter? Okay, there's nothing else I can do about that. We provide an interpreter.
Mr. President, the LCAP is due to come back to the board for approval at a later date, correct?
I believe that's correct. We've
Is
done
it
a
possible
reading.
to place another public hearing on the agenda prior to that approval?
That is correct, 23rd.
Let's make
Okay.
sure that no,
No.
there were two separate public.
No, there were two
public-
separate items.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
if
It was,
Yeah.
point,
So-
point of clarification, I think if the issue was
So-
translation, we should bring back
Yeah.
at a future
There
meeting.
will be an opportunity to address it before we pass the final vote.
Thank you.
yeah, we made the motion for individual
There was a
items.
12A and then a
we
12B.
called.
A.
Mr.
Oh,
President,
yes, we did.
the meeting minutes will reflect that we did in fact hold two public hearings, and I'm requesting that we bring back public comment on the LCAP at a future meeting to allow for proper input from parents. If the issue was translation, let's make sure that we have translation available for them as they're sitting in the audience.
I agree. And that's out, and please, let's have staff speak to them. I'll speak to them myself right now. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Del Real, second by Ms. Lopez. Any discussion? Seeing none, we are adjourned at 8 p.m.